In this session, we want to change the background to this. Add in different elements like grasses, fog, platforms, trees, a wind effect, and these animations, and oh, so something like this, and also the fire, the torch, rocks. So go to Leonardo.ai or any that can generate images for you. And for example, I have some prompts for example, 2D simple tree or 2D detailed rock, and bring some of them. And in the Photoshop, try to, for example, this was the tree itself, and I made a tree out of that myself. So I draw that, and I made them in a separate layers because I want to animate them. So if you want to animate them, you can make them in separate layers. And also, for example, I brought this, which this one is this is this, and for example, this one is this, something like that. So you can draw and be inspired from that. And in the previous sessions, I told you how you can do that. Um, so I have one mushroom and one grass that is exactly um, one tile because I'm going to add them as directly as a tile, not game objects. So they are 128 by 128 as one grid. And the reason I put it all of them here because I want to have one spreadsheet. That is better for performance. And also I have a bush. I have this thing, ivy, and I put them, for example, in here. I have fence. And for the floor here, as I want to add, for example, um, different shapes here so they are not kind of, repetitive, I added some elements like, emerald, bones, a skull, and also I made fog and something that holds the lights, and there are the fire frames for these lights. Then I'm going to import them to my Unity. So I have imported them in the folder terrain, and I have all of them. Let's fix the PPU 128 and on point, and also my tree. Okay, now let's go and let's first add my tree to the scene. So where is the pivot point now? Create a game object and say tree. And here is the pivot point. And I have to fix the pivot point for them here because I want that this branch move from this point, you know. It's kind of, for example, the wind is blowing and they kind of move. And of course, there are different ways to make the wind effect for your vegetation, like using shaders. But as a shader, it's not really beginner friendly. Oh, what is that? So I don't teach them here. I'll cover them later, maybe in the 3D course. Also for 2D, I think the wind shader is not very good, so I prefer to use something like this. So I have this branch. Um, As you see, this part should go to back. So, okay, just change the z value, increase the number, and okay, imagine that you have this. Now I want to give it a kind of movement, wind movement. I give it a tree holder. I I do something like that because if I give the animation and play with this transform property of them, especially the position, um, and they just move according to that, and there wouldn't be no problem. But if I make them, for example, if I individually change the transform, then um, whenever that you want to duplicate this, you just go to the same transform, and that would cause problem. So believe me, do that and try that other way, and you'll see the difference. So go to not a tree holder, go to tree, and go to animation, train. Ah, for example, the tree. You can put a tree without any animation, but I'll just show you one case. So you have it here. Um, just trigger the keyframes. Okay. So now imagine that here, um, all of them move like this. A little bit return here, and then they go to this part, and then give the first frame to here. This is weird because this is too fast. I wanted it to be subtle. Let me. Okay, you can play with that number. I just wanted to show you the technique so you can spend more time on that and make something better. So I have this tree, and I go to the prefab folder, and what is this? This is for the player. I put the fire here. Then I go to train, and I drag and drop it here, and then I can delete it if I want. Okay, the next one. This is the bush. Yeah, it's good. As I want to play a pass through that, so I don't give it any collider. So also the bush, the fence. You can make more fence by just duplicating them and make it a prefab, for example. Imagine that I have this, the fence, something like that. And go to the prefab, bring this and this. And also I want that they be in the back of the player layer. So I create another layer, and I add, for example, nature to be in front of the background, but back of the, for example, the player and things. And I cannot change it here. I have to go to prefab because if I change it here, it just changes for this one. But if I want to entirely change that, then I have to go to the prefab and make it nature, go here and nature. And if I want, for example, this comes in front of that, when we use it in the scene, we can change the order and layer. The higher the number you give that, the more it comes to the front of that. So the fence should be 0, and then we 1, and the tree, that is the nature, and I give it 1, because if I have a fence, I want to make sure that it goes to back. So now you see that something like this. So I delete them. Terrain. Let me go to something simpler. This. This has to be multiple, because we have multiple sprite here. And I want this and this. No. And also this one. Something like that. And apply. So now we have 4 of them. 1 of them is here. This is good for jumping. For example, we have something like this here. And this to be in the background. And this also is a platform to jump, and this for background. So these are the platforms. So let me put them aside. I tell you what I want to do with them. But this, and I think it was this, they are just nature and they do nothing special. And I would make 0, so if I have a tree, just the tree comes in front of them. And I go to prefab. You can change the size if you want, but it's better not to, so they have the same density of pixels or PPU. Put them here. So for that, I want that player to be able to jump on that. So, and I'm going to give them a collider, for example, for this, a box collider 2D, and bring the value to here. And also for that, the player should goes here. So I have these 2 things. Let me tell you what they serve. For example, I go there, I can jump on that, and then I can jump on this. This is a little bit weird. I have to decrease the size of the glider, so it exactly comes here. So something like that. So now you know what I mean. So let me fix it. So they're not train. I call them as For example, platform. You can change the name, but I want to be fast, so I just. Um, and then we have something else. We have, um, yes, this. I go to multiple. I find this, that, and this one. And apply. I want to give it animation, I just move the pivot point here. And remember, you can also make them a tile, as I'm going to show you for this. But I want to show you all the possible ways. It's just your decision which one is to choose. So I have this and this. And I make them this. So, where is that? I need to be here. It has to go in front of that, so I make a new layer and call it, this is the UI. What was the front for? I can think it was for here, but this has to be always be here. I don't want to give this in the layer. So I make this is sorting layer and this is layers. Don't go there, just here. And I want to add, just say front nature. Just give a name that you can remember. What was that? And I bring it here. Something like this. Oh no, not like this. If the pivot point is here and you want to drag them in the same place, it's enough that you first move this to here. So a little bit here. And also, yes. You need to move the things to here. So you match that. And then bring them here. Okay? Something like that. And I make it a little bit bigger. It's better that you do not do that and fix it in the Photoshop, but I just want to do it quickly. For example, you can give shadow. So I have this, and I want to make this swing. I go to this one and create an animation. Animation train for this. Idle. So select, no, just go to recording at first and then select them. Trigger something, so it would create keyframe. No. Okay. And for example, in here, I want that it swings. And in this frame, it goes there, and then returning to normal. Something like this, but it is too fast. And freeze. So you have something like this. And go to prefab and also put it here on the train. So what else we have? We did this. Let me bring it here. We have this and this. Let's go to multiple. And the fire. Something like this, a slice apply. And we have these 4 frames. Press Control and select all of them. Bring it into your scene. And go to Animation, Fire, Idle. So this one, I want it to be go to nature. And this, as well as nature, but in one. For example, if I want that it comes in front of that. If you want it to go back, you can -1. Just is your preference, whatever you like. And okay. And select both of them and call it, for example, a torch. This is not really a torch, but we gave it the name. So go there and also put it there. Let's see what we have here. So we used this, this. And the fog. Decrease the opacity. And I want to give the animation to that, and also the fog holder. Fog. It's not important. So I give the animation to that, and so here, for example, something like this. In here, it moves a little bit here. Then after a while, it just goes up and here. something like this, and then it returns to original position. Mm, this is so. This is too fast. Something like that. And you can add more fogs. And go to prefab the train and also put it here. Delete. Now we have the art. Let's see this and this. So let's go to tile palette. And I make a new one. A tile map, rectangular. And I call it front um, nature. It was on the default, so I want these things would come on top of that. And go here and drag and drop your things there. And where was that? I think it was BG tiles. I want to make something like front and save it. And remember to select this one. Make something like that. We have two others as well. Save this and give that, and also this. Select it. And randomly give them here. Not all of them, but just in a, there. This is very, very crowded here. So, for example, something like this. Have some distance. Um, so this. And I've told you how to do that by the title rule. If you want, you can use that, but I prefer to manually add them. And if you don't like something about it, you can just go and erase it. As this layer is on the back, so it wouldn't be affected and it already is there. But if you go there and delete, yes, it is deleted. That's why we put everything on the separate layer. And also I want to put the grass here. And it would be on the... I have to make another layer for that. On 2D, tile map rectangular. And I call it, for example, what was the name of that? On nature. And we call it nature. And nature should go to nature layer. I select that. Randomly put them there. You can first make your game and then add them. Make all of this train and also the enemies, everything, and at last to polish the background, play with these things. And I also have a mushroom, something like that. The mushroom is something like this. Go to Photoshop and there are some space here. So just bring it down and make sure it's in the middle and then export that again into your project. And then I again drag and drop the new one and you see that it is fixed. Yes, when you remove one of the tiles, something like this happens, but don't worry, you can make a new tile and add, for example, in this place if you don't want the pink color. And yeah, that's it. And let's make the train a little bit better because this is not something very good. And then I'll come back. There's something very important that I have to tell you. If you remember, I told the player to be able to jump what's that, from the ground. So if it comes here, you see that this is not the layer ground. So make sure that all of your platforms are ground so the player can jump on them. Okay. So now something like this. So I think it's really capable of jumping from here to here, but I just put it here to say you, okay, that this can be a platform. Then you can increase the space between this and this, so the player have to jump on that. Or this, if I can even escape that, so be careful. Or here. So what happens if I fall down? This is something that I will tell you in the next sessions. On the trap session, I will tell you how to fix that so it wouldn't fall down forever. And as you see for the fog, one of them is like this and one of them is like this. You can do that by changing the X value on this scale to make it, because if I just all of them look like this, it would be very repetitive. So just make something like that. And I think, yes, you can add more trees and something that is, or more grass. I just showed you some examples and techniques. And when we add music, the game would really be alive. Right now, it doesn't have that emotional feeling because the music is really lacking. Or the enemy, after I add them, that would be very exciting. Or different traps. But right now, it doesn't have anything, it just runs. And he can chill and practice because later we're going to add enemies to kill him. But right now, let him play and have some fun.